Welcome to Shatter.
Support the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing. I promise even more interesting stories. She said she felt nothing when I touched her. Not anger, not love, not even annoyance. Just nothing. I stood there in the kitchen, holding a mug of black coffee, watching steam rise off the surface like smoke from a building already burned down. I didn't flinch. Didn't ask why. Didn't ask who. Because in that moment, I knew it didn't matter. She wasn't confessing. She was testing how much she could say before I broke. And I didn't. I nodded, took a sip, and that was the exact second she lost me. Not because of the affair, because of the tone. Flat, detached, like she'd just canceled a dinner reservation. Like I was a phase, an old sweater she didn't mind tossing out. That's the thing about people like her, they don't stab you in the heart. They just stop holding the knife like it matters. So I let her talk. She rambled on about distance, about wanting to feel alive. Said she didn't mean to hurt me. I didn't say a word. Not because I was stunned. Because I was calculating. Let her think I was numb. Let her believe she still had control. She had no idea I'd already moved 3 steps ahead. This wasn't the breakdown. This was the briefing. She poured herself a glass of wine, as if it was just another Tuesday. Said we should talk about what this means. I just looked at her. Not at her face, at her hands. Steady, polished, like she was relieved. She thought she'd broken me, that I'd beg, cry, fight for her. She had no clue the fight was already over. The minute she said she felt nothing, I gave her exactly that. I stopped asking how her day was. Stopped checking if she got home safe. Stopped pretending we were anything other than strangers wearing wedding rings. She mistook my silence for shock. No, it was strategy. You want out? Fine, but I'm not opening the door for you. I'm locking it behind you. The next morning, I was up at 5. Didn't wake her. Didn't leave a note. Just went for a run. 6 miles. No music. No distractions. Only my thoughts. Cold. Precise. Sharp as glass. By the time I got back, she was gone. Left early for work. Texted me something meaningless. Hope your run was good, Red Heart. That was her move. Say something sweet. Keep me soft. Keep me from seeing the truth. But it was too late. That morning, I started pulling the threads. Her calendar. Her texts. The late-night calls to a number saved under Sarah G. Funny. She's never mentioned a Sarah. I wasn't angry. I wasn't even surprised. Just ready. This wasn't revenge. It was extraction. And she didn't even know I'd already started packing. The thing about people like her, they never expect you to go quiet. They prepare for shouting, crying, broken plates, and slammed doors. They count on it. Because if you explode, they can call you unstable. Make you the villain. Justify their betrayal as escaping toxicity. But when you don't explode, when you don't say a single thing, they panic. I didn't ask who he was. I didn't need to. I just started noticing. The way she guarded her phone like it was a loaded weapon. The way she turned her body away from me when texting. The new passwords she never bothered to share. It was all textbook. And I read every page. I kept the routine. Played the part. Breakfast at 7. Work by 9. Dinner, sometimes. Quiet always. But while she thought I was spiraling, I was sorting. First thing I did was pull my name off the credit card she used. She didn't notice. Then I adjusted the auto transfers on our accounts. Split things surgically, not out of pettiness, out of preparation. This wasn't a meltdown. It was a migration. She kept sending mixed signals. Wore perfume she hadn't touched in months. Made pancakes on Saturday like she used to when we were happy. I didn't take the bait. Just thanked her, ate in silence, and left the dishes in the sink. Her eyes started tracking me more. She'd ask questions she didn't care about before. Where are you going? Back soon. Who's that calling? I'd smile, give short answers, then walk away. She wasn't used to mystery from me. That used to be her role. Now the mirror had flipped, and it terrified her. I didn't flirt, didn't cheat, didn't lie, but I stopped orbiting. Stopped being the gravity that kept her world steady. And slowly, cracks formed. She stayed up later, laughed less, scrolled through her phone like it owed her something. But all it showed was silence. Mine. She still thought I didn't know. That I was some blind husband, grateful for scraps. She had no idea I was already documenting. Already speaking with a lawyer. Already planning her exit, with precision. I wasn't looking for proof to confront her. I was building a case to forget her. And when the time came, I wouldn't shout. I'd simply hand her the pieces of her own collapse. I didn't stalk her. Didn't follow her around like some jealous fool. I just paid attention. That's all it ever takes. People like her get sloppy when they think you're broken. They confuse silence with surrender. So while she slept, I watched. Not her, her patterns. Every fake, late meeting. Every gym night that didn't add up. I mapped them, logged them, labeled them. Her lies weren't clever. They were repeated. Same hotel chain. Same 3-hour window. Same Uber receipts. I cross-checked everything. I wasn't angry. I was methodical. She left her laptop unlocked one evening. Careless. Arrogant. That's when I found it. A private folder on her desktop. Buried under boring labels. Inside screenshots. Messages. Calendar invites. To a name saved as Ray. Ray didn't exist. But the number did. I ran it through a lookup service. Eric. Younger. Slimy. The kind of guy who says bro too much and lives for motivational quotes. The same guy she once told me was just a puppy from marketing. Turns out the puppy bit. Still, I didn't confront. Why would I waste a reveal on someone who never asked for forgiveness? I upgraded the locks on our cloud backups. Rerouted shared accounts to a private server. I copied every message, every hotel booking, every photo she thought was safe. And then I made a call. Jordan. Old friend. Quiet genius. Owns a tech firm. Owes me more than one favor. He didn't ask why. Just said, you want clean or permanent? Clean, I said. But surgical. 3 days later, I had audio. Video. She made it easy. She used the guest room for her calls. Said she needed quiet for Zooms. That's where I planted the device. And just like that, I had everything. Recordings of her whispering sweet nothings to Eric. Planning getaways. Mocking me. He still thinks I'm just working late, she laughed. It didn't sting. It confirmed everything. She was playing chess with a man who'd already flipped the board. Thought she was 10 steps ahead. Didn't realize I'd already left the game. People think betrayal hits you like a train. No. It's slower. Colder. Like frostbite. By the time you notice the damage, you can't feel anything anyway. So I didn't feel pain. I felt purpose. And that purpose had a deadline. It's amazing how loud people get when they think you've gone deaf. She laughed more around the house. Wore makeup to run errands. Suddenly started locking the bathroom door again. All signs. All noise. But I stayed quiet. Let her play the role. Let her think I was buying the act. The thing about narcissists, they love an audience. And when they think you're still watching, they give their best performance. I wasn't watching her. I was watching the exit. She made it easy. Booked a fake conference 3 cities over. Left her suitcase in the hall, tags already printed. I scanned the QR. Hotel. Not near the conference venue. Not even close. I didn't say a word. Just nodded. Good luck, I told her. She kissed my cheek. Said, don't wait up. That night, I didn't follow her. I followed the data. GPS ping, hotel parking lot. Swipe record, wine bar next door. Audio clip, bedroom moan she never made for me. Still not angry. Still not shocked. Just cold. Efficient. Focused. Next day, while she played house with her junior boy toy, I played chess with a lawyer. She reviewed the files. The calendar logs. The messages. Said, you've got leverage. A lot of it. I nodded. Good. Then let's cut clean. We prepped the papers. Asset breakdown. Timeline. Discretion clauses. I wasn't there to ruin her. I was there to remove her. On my way home, I stopped by a storage unit I'd quietly rented weeks earlier. Dropped off a box of keepsakes, photos, watches, the letter she once wrote me when things were real. Or at least when I thought they were. I didn't burn them. Didn't rip them apart. I just left them there. In silence. Because this wasn't revenge. It was extraction. She got home late Sunday. Hair messy. Smelling like someone else's cologne. She said, traffic was a nightmare. I said, I bet. She laughed. I documented. She undressed. I unplugged the last piece of our life. The shared account. She thought I didn't notice the missing puzzle pieces. She didn't realize I built the table they sat on. She started noticing the change. Not right away, but in fragments. Little cracks in her illusion of control. I stopped asking where she'd been. Stopped waiting up. Stopped texting her good night. That's when the fear crept in. She tried to test the waters. Want to watch something tonight? I shrugged. Already did. She smiled, weak, uncertain. That used to be my line. She knew it. A week passed. She cleaned more than usual. Cooked once. Put on that soft sweater I used to compliment. The sweater didn't matter anymore. Because the man who loved it wasn't in the room. She thought I was healing. I wasn't. I was preparing. I sent an email to her company. Anonymous. Clean. A tip about time theft. Attached were screenshots, hotel stays booked during office hours. Internal jokes in her texts about skipping client calls. She laughed at them when she sent them. They wouldn't laugh when they read them. I contacted Eric's girlfriend next. Found her through an old post he was tagged in. Hashtag best weekend ever. The irony. I didn't send the footage. Not yet. Just screenshots. Just enough to tip the first domino. That night, I invited my wife to dinner. Her eyes lit up like it was a second chance. She picked the restaurant. Classy, quiet, expensive. She wore heels. Curled her hair. Put on the same red lipstick she wore the night we got engaged. I wore a black shirt. No ring. The waiter asked for our order. She smiled, said she needed a minute. I said, I'm not here to eat. She blinked. Tried to laugh it off. But the shift had started. And she felt it. I let her talk. She rambled. About fixing things. How marriages work. How we lost our rhythm. I let her finish. Then I set a small envelope on the table. Her name. Cursive. Calm. She reached for it slowly. Her fingers hesitated. She knew. Somewhere deep down, she knew. What's this? She asked. Instructions, I said. For what comes next. She didn't open it. Not there. Not in public. Too much pride still in her spine. She tried to smile. You're being dramatic. I stood up. Buttoned my jacket. By dawn, I said, you'll stop calling it drama. Then I walked out. Let her sip her wine in peace. Let her enjoy the illusion of power for one last evening. She didn't know it yet. But she was already living inside the collapse. I knew the moment she opened the envelope. Not because I was there. Because my phone started buzzing like a hive. 12 missed calls. 3 voicemails. A text that just said, what did you do? I didn't answer. I poured myself a drink. Sat back. Waited. The next ping came at 1:14 a.m. Why is my card declining? Then another. Why is my Uber account locked? What the hell is going on? I took a slow sip of bourbon. Watched the wind move outside the window. Let her panic grow. By 2:08, she emailed me. Subject line, please talk to me. Didn't open it. Just forwarded it straight to my attorney. The real hit landed at 8:03. That's when I fired the final shot. I sent a clean, anonymous email to her HR department. Attached were the receipts. Hotel stays booked on client time. Screenshots of messages with Eric, mocking work and ducking meetings. Subject line, ethics violation, misuse of company resources. No threats. No emotion. Just facts. By 10 a.m., she was placed on leave. Eric too. Apparently, company policy hits different when it's in writing. By noon, I got a LinkedIn ping. Eric's girlfriend, now ex. Julia. She'd seen the screenshots. Her message was short. I saw everything. Thank you. I didn't respond. Didn't need to. She handled him. The way I handled her. At 3 p.m., I got another text from my wife. Why are you doing this? You could have just left. She still didn't get it. I wasn't leaving. I was erasing. Our shared calendar now had 2 new entries. Attorney meeting. Storage pickup. She didn't show for either. Instead, she kept calling. I let it all go to voicemail. Silence was the only sound I wanted her to hear. At 5:17 p.m., she left the long one. Her voice cracked. Raw. The woman who once smirked at dinner now sounded like she was underwater. Please. I made a mistake. I thought you didn't care anymore. I didn't mean to hurt you. Just give me one chance. One conversation. There it was. The thing she once promised would never come. Begging. I replayed it once. Not for satisfaction. Just to remember the difference. Between the woman she was and the woman I just buried. No coffin. No grave. Just silence. She came to the house that evening. Didn't text. Didn't warn me. Just showed up. Hair a mess. Eyes red. Phone clutched like a lifeline. She rang once. Then twice. Then knocked. I watched from the upstairs window. Didn't move. Didn't speak. Just listened. She called my name. Voice soft. Desperate. Then louder. I waited. Eventually, she sat down on the porch step. Curled up like the weight finally reached her spine. And for the first time since this began, she looked small. Not sexy. Not smug. Just lost. When I finally opened the door, she jumped to her feet. Relief hit her face like light in a tunnel. Thank you, she said, stepping forward. I raised my hand. She froze. I'm not here to talk. I said. Not here to argue. Not here to forgive. Then why? She started. I stepped aside, grabbed a cardboard box I'd left by the door, put it in her hands. Her wedding ring, spare key, copy of the divorce paperwork. On top, a sealed envelope. She looked at it, then at me. What's this? She whispered. Your own words. Inside were the screenshots, the texts, the bookings, every lie, every timestamp, every excuse she thought she'd buried. I didn't want her to forget who wrote this story. She opened her mouth, but no sound came out, just a broken exhale, the kind people make when they've been hit in the gut. I stepped back inside, closed the door behind me. No slamming, no shouting, just silence, because I'd already said everything I needed to. She stood there for a while, didn't bang, didn't scream, just stood, like someone trying to wake up from a nightmare. She scripted herself. Eventually, she left. Didn't take the box with her. Left it sitting there, like a tombstone. I didn't move it that night. Let the rain come. Let it soak. In the morning, I picked it up. Placed it at the edge of the yard. Taped a note on top. Returned to sender. She came back later. Didn't knock. Just took the box, wet and ruined. That was the last time I saw her face. Not crying. Not screaming. Just hollow. Like the collapse finally caught up to her. I didn't wave. Didn't flinch. Didn't feel a damn thing. Because when I closed that door, I didn't just shut her out. I let myself back in. Most men stop after the door closes. I didn't. Because this wasn't just about betrayal. This was about the story she told herself. That I was weak, predictable, forgiving. That I was the man you cheat on and still expect help from. The man who forgets as soon as she cries. The man who cracks. She built that version of me in her head. And now I was tearing it down, brick by brick. I deleted our cloud account. Every shared photo. Gone. Wedding footage? Archived to a private, encrypted drive labeled before I knew. Canceled the phone plan. Switched to a new number. One she'll never have. Closed the email account we used for holidays, bills, travel. Started fresh. No more digital fingerprints tying me to her world. I left one thing behind. A short message to her parents, to mine, to Eric's ex. No blame. No drama. Just clarity. What happened between us is done. If you want answers, ask her. If she tells the truth, you'll know everything. If she lies, you'll know even more. Daniel. That was the last sentence I ever wrote with her in mind. Then I logged off and shut the lid. I didn't sell the house. Didn't repaint the walls. Didn't go on some dramatic purge. I just took it back. Took down her generic art. Put up my own. Black and white photos I shot before we met. Started cooking meals again. Not what she liked. What I liked? Steak. Whiskey. Real food. Let the silence breathe. Because now, it wasn't punishment. It was peace. Some nights I'd sit out back on the porch, glass in hand. Watching the trees shift in the wind. Same spot I used to escape to when she was still here. Back then, it felt like hiding. Now, it felt like home. She still tried. Little texts. Breadcrumbs. Hope you're well. Can we talk? I miss your steadiness. I never replied. Not to be cruel. Just because some messages don't deserve answers. I didn't hate her. I wasn't angry. I was done. Done being her mirror. Done being her fallback. She wanted to know what regret tasted like? Well, now. She gets to wake up with the flavor every damn morning. 3 weeks after the papers were signed. I saw her again. It wasn't planned. Wasn't dramatic. Just another Tuesday morning. I was picking up coffee from a spot I used to avoid. Because she loved it. Funny how places lose their poison once you clean out the source. I was standing in line when I felt it. That stare. Heavy. Familiar. Desperate. She walked in like a ghost in daylight. Sunglasses on. No makeup. Hair tied back in a way I'd never seen before. Simpler. Realer. Like she wasn't trying to be anyone anymore. Just trying to hold together what was left. Our eyes met. She froze. I didn't. I nodded. Calm. Like I'd seen an old neighbor. Not the woman who once promised forever, then set fire to the foundation. She walked up slowly. Soft voice. You look good. I smiled. Not smug. Not warm. Just still. I feel good. That answer hit harder than any insult I could have given her. Because she heard what I didn't say. I didn't say I miss you. Didn't say I'm still hurting. Didn't say anything about us. She waited, like there was still something to salvage. A crack. A flicker. A chance. But I was already gone. Before I left, I looked at her once more and said, "You once said I'd get intimacy when you felt like it." She blinked, mouth parted, maybe to apologize, maybe to explain. Didn't wait to hear which. I stepped out into the sun, coffee in hand, back straight, mind clear. That was the last time I ever saw her in person, because I didn't need to watch the rest of her unravel. I already knew the ending. She thought the affair was her escape, thought Eric would become her next chapter. But fantasy doesn't pay bills. And when the fallout hit, when Eric lost his job, when her reputation cracked, when the invitations stopped coming, she realized something brutal. He wasn't a man. He was a mirror of her worst decision. And now she had to wake up next to it, alone. She tried to rewrite the story after that. Social media posts about growth, quotes about learning from the pain, a soft rebrand of the same person who used to lie through her teeth. But nothing landed. Because people can smell regret, especially when it's dressed as wisdom. You'd think that would be the end, right? Divorce signed, name changed, finances separated. But for some people, silence doesn't feel like peace. It feels like punishment. And that's when they panic. It started with polite check-ins. Just wanted to see how you're doing. Then came the nostalgic ones. Do you remember our trip to Oregon? Then the bait. I've been thinking a lot about who I used to be. I'm not her anymore. I didn't answer a single one. Not out of cruelty. Out of principle. You don't get to set fire to someone's life and then ask if they're warm. Last I heard, she moved into a one-bedroom near her sister. Drives a used car now. Switched jobs, smaller firm, lower pay, fewer perks. Eric didn't last. Turns out when the bank account's close and the fantasy cracks, men like him fold fast. He ghosted. Of course he did. She never loved him anyway. He was just the weapon she used to wound me. And now, even the weapon was gone. I didn't celebrate. Didn't throw a party. Didn't post some "look at me now" speech online. Because that's not how men like me move. I moved quietly, efficiently, permanently. I rebuilt my routines. Started traveling again. Trained harder. Worked smarter. Took up woodworking, something I always wanted to try. Carving something from nothing with your hands. There's power in that. Something real. Honest. The house feels different now. Lighter. Not because I replaced everything, but because the air isn't filled with pretending anymore. Sometimes, I still find traces of her. A book she left on the shelf. One of her hair ties in the back of a drawer. I don't throw them out. I just don't touch them. They're relics now. Reminders of who I used to be. Who I'll never be again. Because that man, the one who tried to fix everything, the one who waited, tolerated, forgave, he's gone. And in his place is someone she never saw coming. Not the villain. Not the victim. Just a man who finally understood. You don't need to destroy someone to win. You just need to walk away. So clean. So completely. They're left staring at the silence you leave behind and calling it hell. She thought I was the storm she survived. But I wasn't the storm. I was the calm before it. What would you have done in my place? If the story hit you, leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe. It only gets stronger from here.